Someone left your message on read today. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was someone you wanted to hear from. Maybe it was nothing. A group chat, a work email, a reply that never came. But your body did not treat it like nothing. Somewhere between the moment you checked and the moment you put your phone down, something shifted. A tightness, a low hum of something that felt uncomfortably close to pain. And you probably told yourself to stop being dramatic. It is just a message. Except your brain did not get that memo. Because to the part of your brain that has been running since long before language existed, being ignored and being hurt are not two different things. They are the exact same thing. Here is why. In 2003, psychologist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran an experiment that changed how scientists think about social pain. She put participants inside a brain scanner and had them play a simple video game, a virtual game of catch with two other players. What the participants did not know was that at a certain point, the other players would stop throwing the ball to them. They would be excluded, frozen out, ignored in a digital game that lasted less than 5 minutes. The scans showed something nobody expected. The part of the brain that lit up during social exclusion was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the exact same region that processes physical pain. Not a similar region, not a nearby region. The same one. Being left out of a game of catch activated the same neural circuitry as stubbing your toe, burning your hand, or taking a hit to the body. Eisenberger called it the social pain overlap theory. And what it means is that the pain you feel when someone ignores you is not metaphorical. It is not an overreaction. It is your brain running the same hardware it uses for physical injury. Because for most of human history, social rejection and physical danger were the same threat. Think about what life looked like for your ancestors. Not hundreds of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. You lived in a group of roughly 50 to 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar showed that this number, now called Dunbar's number, was not random. It was the upper limit of the social complexity your brain could manage, the number of people you could track, trust, and maintain meaningful relationships with. Outside that group, the world was hostile, predators, rival groups, starvation, cold. Inside the group, you had protection, food sharing, warmth, someone to watch your back while you slept. So what happened when the group turned on you? What happened when someone stopped acknowledging your existence? In that world, it was not a social inconvenience. It was the beginning of a death sentence. The withdrawal of acknowledgement was the first step toward the withdrawal of protection, and the brain that could not feel that withdrawal, the brain that did not register exclusion as a threat, was the brain that did not survive. Evolution built pain into rejection for exactly the same reason it built pain into fire. Pain is a warning system. Pain says, "This is dangerous. Change something. Fix this now." Your brain cannot tell the difference between being excluded from a prehistoric hunting group and being left on red. The threat detection system is the same. The alarm is the same. The pain is the same. But here is where it gets more interesting. Researcher Kipling Williams at Purdue University spent decades studying what he called ostracism, the experience of being ignored or excluded. And what he found was that the pain of being ignored was not proportional to the importance of the relationship. People reported genuine distress when they were excluded by strangers, by people they had never met, by people they actively disliked. In one study, participants were excluded by a group they were told consisted of members of a hate group, and they still felt the sting of being left out. Your brain does not ask whether the person ignoring you is worth your pain. It does not calculate the social value of the relationship before triggering the alarm. The alarm fires first, every time, because in the ancestral environment, there was no such thing as a meaningless rejection. Any withdrawal of social recognition was a data point. Any exclusion was a signal that your status in the group was changing, and status in the group was survival. Williams found that people who had been excluded, even in short, trivial experiments, became more sensitive to social cues, more likely to comply with others, more desperate to re-establish connection. The brain, registering a threat to belonging, shifts into repair mode. It becomes hyper-focused on the social environment. It looks for any signal that the group is still intact. that you are still in. Sound familiar? There is one more layer. The pain of being ignored does not just hurt in the moment, it accumulates. Researcher Mark Leary at Duke University developed what he called sociometer theory. The idea that your self-esteem is not really about how you feel about yourself in the abstract. It is a real-time gauge of your perceived standing in the social group. When you are included, acknowledged, seen, the sociometer rises. When you are ignored, excluded, invisible, it falls. And a falling sociometer does not just feel bad. It changes your behavior. It makes you more anxious, more self-critical, more likely to interpret ambiguous signals as rejection. A message takes a few hours to arrive and suddenly you are rewriting the entire history of the relationship in your head. A friend seems distracted and your brain starts cataloging every recent interaction, searching for the moment things went wrong. This is not irrationality. This is your threat detection system doing its job. In a world where being frozen out of the group could get you killed, your brain could not afford to miss the early warning signs. So it developed a sensitivity to social signals so fine-tuned, so precise, that it picks up on the most microscopic withdrawal of attention and treats it as data worth analyzing. The problem is that the modern world generates an enormous amount of noise in that system. Unanswered messages, unreturned calls, the seen but not replied to notification, the post that nobody liked, the conversation where someone looked at their phone while you were talking. Each one of these is a tiny signal, and each one triggers, to a small degree, the same ancient alarm. Your brain was not built for a world where you could be socially visible to hundreds of people simultaneously and ignored by all of them at once. So the next time someone leaves your message on read and you feel that small, sharp thing in your chest, do not tell yourself to get over it. Do not call yourself too sensitive. What you are feeling is not weakness. It is one of the oldest survival instincts in the human body. The same system that kept your ancestors alive in the dark is still listening, still watching, still counting every moment of silence. It just never learned that some silences do not mean anything.